There is a quiet revolution happening within you at this very moment. One that has nothing to do with the chaos of the world, the unpredictability of life, or the actions of others. It is a revolution of perspective, of understanding, of reclaiming the one thing that has always been yours, your mind. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, once penned these timeless words in the stillness of his tent, far from the comforts of palace life, surrounded by the uncertainties of war. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. At first glance, these words may seem simple, even obvious, but beneath their surface lies a profound truth, one that has the power to transform how you experience life itself. Imagine standing on the shore of a vast, turbulent ocean. The waves crash violently against the rocks, the wind howls, and the sky darkens with storm clouds. You cannot stop the storm. You cannot command the waves to still or the winds to quiet. But you can decide how you stand in the face of it. Will you tremble in fear, cursing the storm for its fury? Or will you plant your feet firmly, adjust your sails, and remember that while you do not control the ocean, you do control your stance upon it? This is the essence of Marcus Aurelius' wisdom. The storms of life, the disappointments, the betrayals, the losses, the unexpected twists will always come. But your power lies not in stopping them. It lies in how you meet them. Let's take a deeper look at what this means. Every day, we encounter situations that test our patience, our resilience, our peace. A rude comment from a stranger, a missed opportunity, a rejection, a failure. These events can feel like arrows shot straight at our hearts. And in those moments, we often make one crucial mistake. We give those arrows the power to wound us. But here's the truth. The arrow itself does not create the pain. It is our reaction to the arrow that does. The Stoics called this the discipline of assent. Between any external event and your emotional response, there is a space, a fleeting sacred pause where you have the power to choose how you interpret what has happened. That space is where your freedom lives. Think of your mind as a garden. External events are like the weather, sometimes gentle rain, sometimes scorching sun, sometimes violent storms. You cannot control the weather, but you can tend to your garden. You can pull out the weeds of resentment before they take root. You can plant seeds of gratitude, water them daily, and watch as they bloom into resilience. You can build fences to protect your peace from the trespasses of negativity. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. As emperor, he faced conspiracies, wars, plagues, and personal losses. Yet, in his private writings, he never blamed fate or cursed his enemies. Instead, he wrote reminders to himself. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the obstacle is the path. The very thing that seems to block your progress can become the stepping stone to your growth, if you choose to see it that way. But let's be honest, this is not easy. Our minds are wired to resist discomfort, to seek control, to demand fairness. When life feels unjust, the natural response is to rage against it, to demand that it bend to our will. And yet, how often has that rage brought us peace? How often has resisting reality ever softened its edges? The irony is that true strength comes not from fighting what we cannot change, but from directing our energy toward what we can, our thoughts, our judgments, our actions. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, echoed this ancient wisdom when he said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." So how do we cultivate this power? It begins with awareness. The next time you face a situation that triggers frustration, pause for just a moment and ask yourself, what part of this can I actually control? If someone insults you, you cannot control their words, but you can control whether you internalize them. If you fail at a task, you cannot undo the failure, but you can control what you learn from it. If life feels uncertain, you cannot force clarity, but you can control how you navigate the unknown. This shift in focus is not about passivity. It is about agency. It is about recognizing that while you may not be the author of your circumstances, you are always the author of your response. Of course, there will be days when this feels impossible. Days when the weight of the world presses down so heavily that the idea of controlling your mind seems like a cruel joke. On those days, remember this: strength is not the absence of struggle. It is the decision to keep going despite it. Marcus Aurelius himself had moments of doubt. He wrote, "You will find rest from vain fancies if you perform every act in life as though it were your last." Even in his darkest hours, he returned to the same truth. The present moment is the only place where you can exercise your power. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. But right now, this breath, this thought, this choice is yours. So, as we close this reflection, let's return to the shore where we began. The waves will keep coming. The storms will rise and fall. But you are not a victim of the sea. You are the captain of your ship. And though you cannot control the wind, you can always adjust your sails. Today and every day after, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Then take that strength and live, not at the mercy of circumstance, but as the sovereign of your soul. If this wisdom resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And remember, the journey to a purposeful life begins with a single step. Take that step. We'll see you on the path.